In this video, I'm going to analyze S&P 500, the broader markets that most of the world knows about, for the month of October and see exactly what historical information we can gather. I am going to TradeWave, Wave Viewer, and I'm going to select Indices Common, type SPX. Today's October 1st. By default, it shows starting today for the next 30 days. Based for the past 10 years, you can see this has been the gain and loss of S&P 500 from the 1st to 30th of October in the past 10 years. On the bottom, we're looking at the trend chart, and for the ones that might not know, trend chart is the average trend based on the historical years we're taking a look at. So I'm going to go select month of October, which is just going to change this from today until 31st. We have 97 years of data for S&P 500, so let's see what we can actually visualize on this. So if you would have bought S&P 500 on the 1st of October and you were out of it on the last day of October, which is October 31st in the last 97 years, each of these bars of the bar chart shows you the gain and loss. We can look at the quick statistics on the bottom. 60% of all these years have been profitable and 40% of the years have also dropped. Take a look at these big, more recent bars. 1987, the big drop happened in the month of October. That's why it's showing it here, minus 21%. Of course, it was more than that, but this is the drop in the month of October alone. 2008 month of October was down 16.56%. So let's take a look on the bottom right here on the trend chart. Do you see where the trend chart bottoms? You're seeing a very sharp bottom right there. We want to know what that date is. And that date is 26th of October. So what you're seeing is that based on the last 97 years, having averaged every single one of the years together, the time that historically, statistically, market bottomed was on the 26th, and it started rising on the 27th for majority of the years. And take a look at how sharp this up move is. I'm sure you've heard that end of October is a bullish time. A lot of people mention that, but visualizing it is something else. Now, right now we are seeing the trend chart has this distinct up move based on the last 97 years. So we are really looking at statistically bullish time, strong bullish time, starting October 27th. But now we're looking at every single year of the last 97 years. But one of the things that we do, we also take a look at it based on presidential election cycle. This year is the year after presidential election cycle, so we're going to select presidential election plus 1 years. And look at the years. The years become 4 years apart. So what do we see here? We are seeing that in the month of October, in the last 4 PE plus 1 years, it was bullish. In 2005, it dropped, but it was also bullish in 2001. So basically, this century, it's had 1 down and 5 up years for month of October of PE plus 1. But here's the more interesting point. Let me switch this to January to December so we can actually see relative location of the year. This is where we are. When I click here, the trend chart starts from the first of the year until the last of the year. So look at this bottom right there. Look at that. That was very similar to what we just saw on the 97 years bottom. So it shows a bottom on the 27th of October, which really statistically is the same as what we saw on the 97-year chart. And after that, it goes up. So what are we getting out of this? We are in a fairly bullish time right now. It is not as strong as what's coming up. And I'm going to show you another thing, another way to assess that with TradeWave. So I would think we're more of a bullish period based on what we are seeing up here. But now there's another way to assess this. But before I do that, I just want to show you what happens if you were actually in S&P 500 starting this bottom right there. So I'm going to move this to the end of the year and move this to this bottom. Now this is astonishing. If you were in S&P 500 starting 27th of October until the end of the year, you would have had a profit every single year since 1973. 1973 was the last time this period dropped, and it dropped minus 12%. But look at this, starting 1977 all the way to 2021, the period of October 27th until December 31st has been bullish. In 1993, it was up only 0.4%. If I turn on the MFE, we can see the extent of the move. It was actually up an additional 1.04%. So it was almost 1.5% move up, but still closed positive. And it was very positive throughout the time. So I see if history repeats itself, which chances are high it will, this period is going to be bullish. But now back to where we are. I'm going to reset that by, I just refreshed it so it resets back to October 1st. But I want to show you something else. I am going to select the S&P 500 stocks. So what you're looking at now on the opportunity table on the left is that all of the S&P 500 stocks, there I think about 505 of them, are on the list if they had a pattern that TradeWave detected. And as you can see, it comes up and it ranks it by Sharpe ratio. But look at the days. Days is the length of the pattern. And every single one of these patterns starts today. Here's the start date on the left. Here's the length of the pattern, 62, 62, 07, and so on. There are many different dates, but we want to know how bullish we are from now until 30 days from now, which is when we go near that that bottom on the October 27th we just looked at. So I'm going to go to filter here, and I want you to take a look at the bottom right here. Right now it is showing that there are 275 opportunities detected, 271 long and 4 shorts. 98% are long, but they're all different length of time. But what about the 30 days? So I say 2-30 means filter everything, minimum 2 days, maximum 30 days. That shows us all of these patterns that are 2 to 30 days. But now look at the bottom. 22 opportunities were detected, and 20 were long, and only 2 were short. That shows that market is turning bullish as opposed to how it was in September. Let's take a look at how it was on September. If I go back to September, we still had 2-30 up there. Look at that, September 1st. On the bottom, it detected 49 opportunities, 21 longs, 28 shorts. So majority of them were short. But look at what happens in the middle of the month. 16th or 17th. Look at that. September 17th, TradeWave found 45 opportunities and 100% of them were short. It didn't find a single long opportunity. So the market was very bearish short term. And if you watch one of our videos, that one was done with Anne-Marie Bind, we used this exact process in order to find Dexcom and short it, and it worked within 24 hours. Literally worked the following day. So as you can see, this shows bearish here. But now if we go back to October 1st, based on last 10 years, we are bullish. But look, it's 22 opportunities. The numbers are not staggering. So it's found bullish opportunities, but not many of them. There are 22. What happens if we actually move this to the 27th, which we just found? Things change. 141 opportunities were detected, 140 long, and 1 short. And this is only based on opportunities from October 27th until 30 days into the future of it. That's the time that you want to look for possible long opportunities, maybe short-term trades, short-term options, get in and out and take your profit. This is the time. TradeWave is showing that market is turning bullish, but not substantially yet. However, market's going to move more and more toward bullish. Now that's 27th. What happens if I go somewhere in the middle? Let's go to the 5th. We already saw the first 22 opportunities, 20 long, 2 shorts. What if I go to the 5th? It jumps to 33 opportunities, and now the number of shorts went up to 8. How about the 10th? 35 opportunities, again 82% of them are long. And October 15th, it again, the number of opportunities are rising. 48 opportunities and 89% of them are long. 20th. Jumps to 95 opportunities and 84% of them are long. So TradeWave really tracks exactly how the market has been turning bullish versus bearish based on last 10 years, right here. And these are the exact times. How about the day before that? It's the same. Ooh, when I go to October 24, the number drops to 40 to 58 opportunities, substantially less. However, majority are still long. I just want to take a look at 20th also. Still bigger. 95 opportunities, 84% low. 84% long, and only there are 15 shorts. So what you just saw is that TradeWave actually tracks the broader market and show you when is it bearish, when is it bullish. And these are great way to take a look at the broader markets, which usually move the individual securities in the direction of the broader markets. So this is it for today. This is for the October video. If you subscribe to our channel, you're going to see a lot of these insights that you won't find anywhere else. Thanks for joining.